I really probably should have cleaned my computer screen from the last 2 videos we made where each time it started raining.
Yes.
And I just kind of like wiped it off just to keep it dry, but now it looks like absolute garbage, and it's really kind of hard to read in the glare of this sun. But we're gonna make this work.
We're gonna muscle through.
We're gonna make this work. Depending on where you look, you'll see food shortage updates, empty shelf warnings, other advisories that affect us all and what we consume. Food that we ingest to nourish our bodies to keep going. Food. Obviously, you've covered this. I've talked about it a little bit, but food is changing.
Don't forget the water.
The water as well.
That's a big one right now.
But now, another urgent alert, and this is actually the milk. The milk.
Surprise.
I'm glad. Insert rolling eyes, because brace yourself. The CDC gives guidance for trans people chest feeding kids, accusing of failing to consider possible health risks. Yes.
I already know where this is going.
Chest feeding.
Chest feeding. I already know where this is going. Where the men who, because they put on a dress and some makeup, now decide they're a woman, decide to put that little fake chesticle thing on where they can breastfeed without breasts, real breasts, baby, but instead of using actual milk that a mother's body would produce, a woman's body would produce, they're putting cow milk in there, which is horrible for infants. Right?
When
Am I right?
When Mr. Garrison wants to chest feed, he has to consider the possible risk, and entry for the official site claimed transgender and non-binary gendered individuals may give birth and breastfeed or feed at the chest, hence the new term chest feeding. That will not be in your Merriam dictionary until 2024.
I was about to say.
Just, if you're looking for that, you want to play that in Scrabble, you got to wait a year.
Now, there is the flip side where there are trans people who can breastfeed. That's because they went from female to deciding that putting a sock down their pants makes them a man, yet they can still get knocked up, still actually have a baby because there's a uterus, because they're actually a woman, and then therefore they still have breasts that will still produce milk.
Tetas.
Because they are actually a woman, not a man.
Meanwhile, Ice Cube says that the record industry uses social engineering in rap to encourage criminality, control society. The rapper said, "Follow the money to find out who is benefiting."
Profits over people.
Plus, more updates from other rappers like the Law and Order star Ice-T, and also, it's getting hot in here.
No.
Here.
Nelly.
Country grammar, longest yard St. Louis star Nelly, stomping in his Air Force Ones, and so much more.
Stomping in his Air Force Ones.
This morning, we come to you from the rooftop, 15 stories up, or 14, 13 and a half.
I was about to say, because that's 14, and this is like not really, but then they're down.
13 and a half stories up here in Nashville, Tennessee. We did not know we were going to be here yesterday morning, but here we are today.
Here we are today.
Where we will be tomorrow morning is anybody's guess.
Yep. Nomad traveling, I like it.
Yeah. Came in, met up with some friends, had some fun, had some food. Bar taco was good. I was pleased with my tacos.
Same.
Again, the kid. She cannot choose where we go, what we do, or what she eats because she likes to waste food.
She does. She likes to waste food. She likes to, I don't know. I think it's a kid thing. The good news for her is that she picks things that generally I will eat if she does not. So I guess that's the mom in me also. I've been conditioned to finish my child's food if she does not, so it's not a waste.
The plus side is that there's so much food here in Nashville.
Oh,
it's unbelievable. And it's not just so much food, there's so much good food.
Yeah.
There's so many good food options and choices and cool places. Like you could, me personally, I could eat the same meal, but if I could eat it in a different location with like different decor and music and atmosphere, it's a game changer.
All right, we're going to try that out. I'm going to feed you chicken and rice and a vegetable every day. But one day you're going to sit in the kitchen. One day I'm going to make you sit in the bathroom. One day I'm going to make you sit in the hallway. One day I'll make you sit somewhere, I don't know, balcony. The bathroom one I feel like is not going to go over as well as you think it will.
Speaking of bathroom situations, we stayed the night in a tiny house, a tiny home, converted school bus, a schoolie. In the mountains of Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. The
For 4th of July.
The Smoky Mountains.
Great.
The bathroom situation there was unique.
Yes.
It's a compost toilet.
It's the first time I've ever had to use a compost toilet.
It'll be the last time we ever had to use a compost toilet.
Well, for you, it's fine for me. Unless...
Okay, all right, fine. I don't care. It was just strange. It was different, but
Yeah.
I thought you would not like it.
No, it didn't bother me any. But I will say, and this is going to be a little TMI for the fellas out there, if it was a specific time of the month, I might have had an issue with it. It's a little different.
Especially if you have guests. Mm-hmm. They're using it too.
Yeah.
So I came across this headline here. Laura Becker, she is a detransitioner.
We transition while it's popular. We detransition when it starts to be less popular. Or
Not like the letter D transitioner. It's DE. Like, see, sometimes they have the letter D, so you know they're political.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say, so you know they actually had a dick. I didn't know if that's how that meant. I mean, it's possible that detransition meant having to do with a penis.
Says here, why is the left normalizing sex changes for kids? Good question. The trans movement is the new pillar for the left to champion, according to Laura Becker. And detransitioner Laura Becker shares why the transgender movement has become a dominant issue for the left on the Ingraham angle, which is a show on Fox News, I believe. But we'll talk about that more later. But for now, the CDC, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's official website published advice for trans and non-binary individuals on seeking guidance on how to chest feed their infants.
Why don't they just follow what normal, I will use the word normal here, fathers will do when they want to help out the mother with breastfeeding, take over, so, because they do say that skin-to-skin contact and stuff like that is good for a baby, whether it's with the mother or the father or the caregiver, if you will. But you can use actual breast milk in these things. You don't need...
I didn't know that the weight of a blanket affects how you sleep.
Weighted blanket.
But then we saw that one invention on Shark Tank where it was like a weighted swaddling, which is like, wait, yeah,
that makes sense to me.
Why not?
Yeah.
But this is the new normal. You know, this is the new normal.
You can't call it that.
There will be a time where, let's just say 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the road, people are going to look back on our normal and be like, what were they thinking?
I don't feel like it's the new normal. I feel like it's the new gimmick, the new trend, the new gotcha, the new whatever. I don't feel like it's the new normal.
It is definitely a profit center.
Yes. Oh gosh, yes.
Which has always been
always
the
a huge
drive.
thing. When they start making T-shirts and stuff for it, and it's profit. It's not actually about the people. It's about what the companies and whoever else can make money off of.
In sections of the Major Health Institute's guidance on breastfeeding, it contained information for those who have had much of their breasts removed in gender reassignment surgeries or for biological men taking hormones to grow breasts on how to feed their newborn children.
Now, the thing here is they're making this about transgender, but you have to look at it from other points of views too. Like they want it to be this way because it's sensational and attention grabbing, whatever, like spooky. But there are women out there, like the only kind there are, the natural born ones. We're not doing that either. No, natural born woman. Like it's a thing. That's the only kind of woman there is.
Lenny Kravitz called American Woman.
American Woman. I mean, you can be a British woman. You can be a Australian woman.
I like this song.
I like Lenny Kravitz, so it works. But where was I saying? Oh, there are women out there who have had to have chest reconstructive surgery, whether they've had breast cancer or whatever else. They've had reductions. They've had to have mastectomies, whatever, who will then need to go about this breastfeeding with the apparatus sometimes and with purchased breast milk from outside sources. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
No, not at all. However, this is according to the article, several doctors criticized the guidance, not simply because CDC has appeared to guide biological men in how to breastfeed children, but because they claim the CDC has failed to gauge the risks posed to children drinking milk produced by chemicals used in gender reassignment medical operations.
Drinking milk? Hold on. Drinking milk with chemicals used from gender reassignment, whatever. So, I mean, if you're gender reassigning, one, you're still a man. You're not going to produce breast milk. Like, it's not going to happen.
Oh, they're saying that it could.
How? That a man can produce breast milk?
It says in sections of the major health institute's guidance on breastfeeding, it contained information for those who have had much of their breasts removed in gender reassignment surgeries, or for biological men taking hormones to grow breasts, on how to feed their newborn children.
Yeah, but that doesn't say anything. Men growing breasts, it doesn't produce milk. You don't have mammary glands. You don't have milk ducts. You don't have any of this stuff.
Not yet.
That's look.
Not yet.
That's Frankensteining things.
Give
Just so you know.
it 6 weeks. Give it 6 weeks.
That's Frankensteining. If you can literally take a drug that will, as a man, give you mammary glands and the ability to produce milk, that's Frankenstein. That's not anything else.
What do you think is going on in these labs that is probably near completion that hasn't been released yet? Like, the movies are not like so far-fetched.
Yeah.
So just because it hasn't happened yet, or at least
Doesn't
to the
mean
point
it's
of
not
which
possible.
it can be publicly revealed, they now have to figure out a strategy in which they can get it approved. So this may be it, because any other way would be gain of function or whatever, and they would not get the approvals needed.
Yeah. Well, you got to think, back in the day, there was that movie Junior with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where he willingly played a pregnant man with whatever else. Do you remember that movie? Him and
I don't remember that.
Danny DeVito was in that one too, I think. I love them in twins together. Such a good movie. But Junior, that movie weirded the kid out when she saw it on TV. She's like, "What is this? That's not." And I'm like, "That's the first." So you have Mrs. Doubtfire, where you have Robin Williams dressing up as a woman and pretending to be a woman. No sex changes, so that's not the same thing to me as transgender. That's just a drag queen kind of thing going on right there. But then you had the movie Junior, where Arnold Schwarzenegger literally got pregnant. They were working in a lab and found a way to make a man pregnant. And my whole thing was, where are you going to push it from? Where's it coming out of?
Well,
That's the issue.
maybe not. Maybe it's a mandatory C-section. I don't know.
But here's the other thing. If we start doing all this, what's next? They found a way, drugs you can take, where if you lose your hand, it just regrows like a freaking lizard.
They are working on some crazy stuff.
I will tell you, I will be 100% upfront with you guys. I say it on my channels all the time. You do you, boo. It's a thing. Whatever makes you happy in life, as long as it's not physically harming somebody else, go for it. If you wanna be a man who chops your stuff off and whatever else, that's fine. But you cannot call yourself a woman, just so we're all fully aware.
Remember, measure twice, cut once. So in the CDC's website section on health equity considerations, found under its infant and young child feeding toolkit, the center declared that transgender and non-binary gender individuals may give birth and breastfeed or feed at the chest, called chest feeding. It also stated that the gender identity or expression of transgender individuals is different from their sex at birth, and that the gender identity of non-binary gendered individuals does not fit neatly into either man nor woman. Under the CDC's website section on breastfeeding, specifically an entry covering breastfeeding for those who have undergone breast surgery, the Institute mentioned chest feeding. The CDC posed the question: can transgender parents who have had their breast surgery breastfeed or chest feed their infants? It responded, yes.
Well, so
followed by an explanation.
If you're a woman who is transitioning to a male, you still wouldn't be a man. If you're transitioning to a male, or you're doing things to your body to make it look like you're a male, there we go. That's what we're going with. Your body would still produce the milk, but you would have a bunch of chemicals in it. So then, no, you should not breastfeed. However, at the same time, how many drugs are random people on anyway? I mean, you have mothers out there on all kinds of drugs for depression, for heart medicine, for diabetes, whatever else, and all that's going into the baby at the same time, and they're not telling you not to breastfeed then. So again, this whole thing is because it's a trans thing.
Like, my opinion of the air quality has always been bad.
Yes.
It's just now all of a sudden people care.
Yes.
It's being pushed into the news, into the media,
yes,
and they're checking.
Well, it's
only to realize that if you were to compare it to last year,
it's actually not as bad in some places.
And then it's like, well, you didn't care then.
Yeah. Well, this year they want to make sure that the travel is not working as well. There is an agenda behind every single thing that happens, and right now it's the summer. This wasn't happening before school got out, and guess what? It'll stop happening when school goes back in. But right now in the summer, when tourism is necessary for certain areas to stay afloat, they want to say, don't go here, don't go there, don't go there, because they want to centralize where the money goes.
They control the air quality map to funnel people in the direction that they want them to go.
Like I said, how are you going to have bright red right here and then green all the way around it? Where the hell's the orange and the yellow? You don't go from green to red. There's a yellow in the middle.
So some transgender parents who have had breast/top surgery may wish to breastfeed or chest feed, a term used by some transgender and non-binary parents. Their infants, chest feed their infants. Healthcare providers working with these families should be familiar with medical, emotional, and social aspects of gender transitions to provide optimal family-centered care and meet the nutritional needs of the infant. The post added that these transgender parents may need help.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much
Sorry,
wraps
I put
it
the
up.
wrong pause there. It says may need help with maximizing milk production. You want to get in there, you want to stimulate.
I don't think you can do that in videos, just so you know.
Actually, you can. If
You
you
just
really,
can't do it this way.
If you really want to, you can look at those on YouTube, and YouTube will show you 100%.
That's true.
Maximizing milk production, supplementing with pasteurized donor human milk or formula, which could be a side hustle opportunity. Medication to induce lactation or avoiding medications that inhibit lactation, suppressing lactation, for those choosing not to breastfeed or chest feed, and finding appropriate lactation management support, peer support, and or emotional support. According to the Daily Mail, this advice may apply to biological men who can produce their own breast milk by taking hormone drugs, which mimic the changes that happen to a biological woman's body during the late stage of pregnancy. However, the outlet noted that the FDA's warning that one of these drugs,
If you can't pronounce it, you shouldn't be putting it in your body.
domperidone, I think it's domperidone,
Okay.
can pass into breast milk in small amounts and can sometimes give babies an irregular heartbeat as a result.
So not only are you mentally a little skewed with the whole changing your own sex because you whatever, and then you're going to raise a child that way, you're also going to potentially cause them physical harm by trying to prove you're a woman by breastfeeding them when you shouldn't. Okay, cool.
Now call me old-fashioned, but
Sounds like a great parent in the making.
I guess this is progression and a form of freedom of speech.
My freedom of speech, I'm working on it right now.
I mean, there was a time when you and I couldn't be together, and that too has changed.
If you even try to compare skin tone
No, it's not a comparison.
relationships to chopping your body up so you can call yourself something else.
It's a progression of society. It's a progression of
Well, the
of
fact that there was
acceptance.
ever an issue with the skin tone just meant that society was stupid as shit to begin with. This is a little bit different.
But is this progress or something else?
Something else.
Maybe social engineering.
I mean, the next thing you know, we're all going to be asexual little frogs running around who don't need anybody else to reproduce on our own.
We will be sexual adjacent.
Ooh, nice cold breeze. I don't know where that's coming from, but that's glorious.
Ooh, piece of candy.
Ooh.
So, social engineering to encourage and control society. Remember, follow the money to find out who is benefiting. Rapper Ice Cube spoke on Bill Mayer's Club Random podcast and alleged that there is a financial connection between the rap music industry and private prisons. Rapper
I can see
O'Shea
that.
Ice Cube Jackson was one of the members of NWA, a group that pioneered the gangster rap genre with songs like F the Police in 1988. In recent years, the rapper has made headlines for questioning left-wing dogma and working with former President Trump. Side note, there's an entire Trump store in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Yeah. It was interesting.
Very interesting.
Very interesting.
Mayer
Very.
spoke with the rapper about the excesses of woke ideology in everyday conversation. Mayer observed there's a mean girls mentality where people are looking to fault people for not using updated racial terms like Latinx.
Oh, yeah, instead of
Latinx.
yeah.
Even if the groups discussed do not use the terms themselves.
What's interesting, and this it's kind of what you're talking about. What's interesting is I've said it forever that media portrays how they want everybody to see certain groups. They want people to see.
Media portrays based on the dollars thrown at them
Yes.
by businesses looking to advertise.
Think about it like this, and I'm going to use the black population for this. I hope that's okay. I'm going to use a black population for this. If you look back when there was Black Wall Street and things like that, you had men and women who dressed to the nines, who you know, skirts and nice blouses and whatever else. And then as soon as TV and media and everything came in, they started to portray black people in a certain kind of way, and then it's like people fell in line, and now it's like media, I don't know how to explain it, I know exactly what I mean, but media determines how people are.
You're right.
Instead of being yourself, you're swayed by what media says is popular. So you wear this thing, you do that, you whatever.
Some,
not all,
some.
but it's a thing. And then
It says that it's weird how the name's always changing. Every 20 or 30 years, somebody wants to put a new label on the same thing. So this is exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They choose when it changes. Ice Cube said, and he went on to suggest that petty debates like these are forced onto society to divide people and prevent them from questioning the problems they all should unite to address, which is the people behind this, really. It's just done to really keep us bickering and chasing these words, so they're not really getting to the root of the issues, which are most of the time very common, if we really go down to the root of it. That's what Ice Cube said. The mayor asked Ice Cube to identify some of these people who are dividing society by design. And Ice Cube asked rhetorically, who benefits and profits off of our bickering and division? Follow the money. He says, I don't know their names, Bill, but if you follow the money, you go high enough, you start to see. And then use the record industry as a broad example of how people at the top can manipulate what's going on with the people who are bickering and fighting.
Well, look at old music. I mean, I love older music because it told stories and whatever else. And now most music is about drugs and cheating and killing people and whatever. And it's like, the hell happened to the music industry? Well, the music industry told you what they wanted you to tell people. You know what I mean? They swayed it.
Unless you really listen to like Kendrick Lamar, or you listen to J. Cole, or you even listen to Taylor Swift sometimes.
Oh,
it's like,
I agree.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
Ice Cube alleged that the same people who own the record labels own the prisons, noting that it seems really kind of suspicious, if you want to say the word, that the records that come out are really geared to push people towards that prison industry. Depending on what music you listen to. We listened to some older music on the way here, and one of the songs that we heard was Sean Kingston's Beautiful Girl, which paints this picture of self-harm when you fall out of love and a relationship ends.
No, with a beautiful woman.
Okay, but you know, there's a lot of nuances that can be dissected in that song. Then after that song, don't question my playlist, but Nickelback comes on, and I'm listening to Rockstar.
Yeah.
And then I'm listening to the lyrics of Rockstar. That paints another picture too.
Yeah.
Like a glamorous lifestyle of a rock star, which is really and truly a terrible lifestyle based on how he described it.
Yes.
But it also depends on why are you listening to it?
But then remember, we listened to Linkin Park, and if you listen to Linkin Park's words, and then the front man killed himself. I mean.
But how many times have you listened to a song and not? How many times have you heard a song and not actually listened to it?
Oh, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. I used to love that song, and I never really paid attention to the words. And now I'm like, oh, you're a depressing song. I thought you were going to be a good song. You're a depressing song.
There's a lot of songs out there where people like, they actually listen to it. They're like, wait, this is not what the title said. It's clickbait. Or what I believed it to be, as they actually start listening to it. But then it also comes down to, well, why are you listening to it?
Yeah.
Are you really absorbing this message?
Or you just like the way it sounds in the background.
But also, maybe you're not in tune enough with it in yourself where you're absorbing it, you don't even realize it, and it's basically being implanted into your brain.
Yeah. An inception kind of thing.
So, but I guess it just depends on who you are and how many people want to judge you, really and truly. We got another rapper here, Ice-T. He fires back at critics, slamming wife Coco Austin's
I feel like Ice
racy
Cube and Ice-T should go together.
They
are.
July 4th bikini post. And Ice-T is making it clear that he will not tolerate negative comments about his wife Coco Austin. Coco took to Instagram on Tuesday to celebrate the 4th of July. In the photos, Coco, 44 years old, posed in a white G-string bottom with a tiny red top. I was purely looking at this for research purposes. The mother of one held 2 American flags in the photos. Happy 4th of July, her caption said, I'm celebrating in Arizona. Yes, it gets hot here, hot outside. Social media users quickly flooded Coco's comment section, criticizing her for the post. She's a mom. Do you want your daughter to dress like that? Think about it. One user wrote, with another adding, just blows my mind. You are okay with your child seeing this? In person, no less. And this is the same world and people who are behind the CDC issuing guidelines and how-tos for men to chest feed their children and how men can now give birth. But God forbid a woman take a bikini pic and post it on social media. Oh, and it's because, quite possibly, she's curvy and thick, whatever. But
you realize
if she was 60 years old, then it would be celebrated.
Yes.
If she was 200 pounds overweight, then she would be labeled courageous.
But because
hypocrisy and stupidity at its best.
Yes. But when a man posts up a selfie of his chest and he's got on tight shorts or something, it's not the same issue. Are you not worried about your children seeing you in shorts?
If a man posts up a selfie of him in a bikini on the 4th of July,
Adidas will hire him for their swimsuit model.
I'll only pause there so YouTube can put an ad in there. We'll see if it works. Okay, one more retired rapper story. Rapper Nelly sells half of his song catalog, including hits like Hot in Here, Dilemma, for $50 million. The Shake Your Tail Feather rapper called his music his legacy in a statement and said he wants his songs to outlast him. I got a lot of favorite Nelly songs, but Dilemma
that's the one, right?
Man.
Yeah.
I like Dilemma.
Same.
I like Dilemma. But also I asked you, I was like, is Nelly country because he did a song with Tim McGraw?
No. Nelly's smart because he did a song with Tim McGraw.
Nelly just sold only 50% ownership of his song catalog for $50 million. A source close to the rapper told Fox Business that means theoretically it's worth $100 million. But in my opinion, this is excellent. YouTubers are doing it too. And they are selling their content and capturing future ad revenue today and allowing their content to last forever. Mr. Beast, he's done it. And we were approached at Vid Summit last year about the investment opportunity. And I think it's a very cool way and a great way to build wealth. I don't remember the name of the company though.
That's what I was trying to remember too. Starts with an S?
I don't remember the name.
Or an R?
Starts with a letter. It's yellow. The company colors are yellow and black. I actually did a video on it like a few months ago, but I don't remember the name of it. But ultimately what they do is they'll take your old content and they'll put a valuation on it, and then they'll pay you in advance for the ad revenue that you will receive for the next 12, 24, 36 months.
And it's one word.
And you give them the rights to your content and they pay you up front, but they're ultimately going to pay you at a discount for the money up front in comparison to what it could potentially be worth in ad revenue in the future. But it makes me, I shouldn't say but, and. Spotter. Okay, Spotter. Sweet. It did start with an S and ended with an R.
See? Spotter raises $200 million to invest $1 billion into YouTubers' back catalogs. This was February of last year.
Sweet. But it makes me happy. I don't know why I keep saying but. And it makes me happy. And so excited, especially for growing YouTubers like Hammond Cleaning and Restoration.
I thought you were going to say me.
You're not selling your rights to your content.
No, but I'm a growing YouTuber.
Yeah.
Does that count?
No, for sure. You're on fire.
Any day you get a new view or a new sub, you're a growing YouTuber.
Hammond, and much to you guys' appreciation. Thank you for allowing us to grow, helping us grow. Hammond Cleaning and Restoration, HAMMOND, Hammond Cleaning and Restoration. I received an email from Robert this morning. This is his channel.
Oh, okay.
This is his channel. This is his company.
Okay.
And it says, the subject line says, if you guys are driving through Pennsylvania. Dear Kevin, greetings. My name is Robert, and I am an avid subscriber to your YouTube channel and a proud member of your Patreon group. I recently caught wind of your exciting plans to travel to Canada. If your journey takes you through Baltimore, Maryland, Philly, or Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, my wife Jen and I would be absolutely thrilled to show you around. I currently reside in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, where I work for the government and run a successful business that you played a significant role in helping me monetize on YouTube.
Nice.
I owe you a huge thank you for that. So that put a huge smile on my face.
Can you tell people that he works for the government?
To start my day. Honestly, I think he works. He probably gets work from the government.
Okay.
Like he's
like a contractor.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would be willing to bet that his clientele are government,
What's that video?
different branches of the government. My client. So, like, he could potentially be cleaning for CDC.
Oh,
not
that's cool.
CDC because they're in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But he could be cleaning for different branches of the government and their facilities.
Well, CDC has places all over the country.
True. So, and he can get these government contracts and clean for them. You know,
really neat.
So that's how I view it.
Yeah.
I think that's. But being in close proximity to Hershey Park, we thought it would be fantastic to treat you and your wife to a delightful lunch.
Hershey Park is supposed to be really good. I had a lot of comments that said, if you go to Pennsylvania, go to Hershey Park.
I went to Hershey when I was a kid, very, very little, but very. I think it was fun. I was tiny though. Wishing and thank you for that, Robert. I really do appreciate it. And everyone else, like,
I was about to say, we have Kentucky out there, we have people in Maryland, we have people in Jersey, New York.
There's a lot.
Maine. There's people in Canada who are like, when you get here, I'll take you all around. Like, we've got a lot of people offering sightseeing and meals and places to stay if we want locations. Like, it's really neat.
He says, wishing you a safe and enjoyable trip. Both Jen and I truly appreciate the incredible content you and your family create. May everything in your lives be going wonderfully. Blessings to you all. Warm regards, Robert Hammond. Thank you, Robert.
It's so nice when people email with positive.
Yeah, for sure. You know, which now has got me thinking, like, how much more is out there that people just don't, like, they have to be triggered to say something because we are no different. We're not commenters. We watch content and we don't comment. We don't dislike it and we don't express how much we do like it. We just watch it.
I had somebody ask me on SquirrelTribe 2.0, they said, how can you be like this over here and like that over on the main channel? And I'm like, well, I'm the same person and I have different thoughts on different things, and certain areas get certain thoughts. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like,
they're like saying, how can you be like this when you wake up and like this when you go to sleep? Well,
it depends on what transpired during the day.
I woke up, I just woke up, you know, and I'm sleep. Like, you're the same person. Yeah. It's just, you know, time and place. Yeah. So, you know, sincerest thank you, and I'm truly humbled, really am. The weather that, you know, what's going on up there, those guys, has detoured our direction. Yeah. But honestly, who knows where we will end up when it's all said and done. But number one, safety is a top concern in selecting our destinations. Which Robert in his email says, please rest assured that this invitation comes from a place of genuine admiration and support rather than any red flags you may understandably perceive with a stranger extending an invitation. We would be honored to meet with you and if it aligns with your travel plans. But it's unfortunate that some areas get a bad name, reputation, and ultimately a black eye for some less than desirable conditions or possibly political decisions and agendas. Philadelphia, a specific neighborhood in Philadelphia troubled by homeless problem, drug users with flesh falling off their bone.
Is that Kensington? Is that where that is?
Yes. Yes.
Did I jump ahead?
You always do.
I'm sorry.
What you got?
Nothing. I remember seeing videos of that when we were traveling last summer and trying to determine where we wanted to go, what we wanted to do. And I saw some videos and I was like, not that. We don't want to go there.
So it says that one councilman said simply cleaning the streets is like putting lipstick on a pig. And I know that this is not indicative to the entire state or, the city surrounding, but nonetheless, it is a problem that must be addressed. But will it ever really be addressed?
No, it loses the talking point and the draw and the whatever else if it is actually addressed.
Described as a troubled neighborhood of Kensington and Philadelphia, there are videos out there showing dozens of homeless individuals openly injecting drugs in broad daylight and lying unconscious on trash-ridden streets. The impoverished town, previously referred to as the East Coast's largest open-air drug market by DEA officials, has seen an increase in fatal drug overdoses exacerbated by the mixture of the synthetic opioid fentanyl and xylazine, a drug used by veterinarians to sedate animals such as horses and cattle.
The government can do anything they want, unfortunately, and also fortunately, depending on how you want to look at this. They have plenty of money and resources to do what needs to be done when it benefits them.
They shut down the world.
They shut down the world.
They shut down this country, but they ultimately, collectively shut down the world.
Yes.
And made it possible for people to survive, theoretically, at the time, without going to work.
And you're going to tell me you can't figure out how to clean up a little section of Philly?
Now, across Kensington Avenue and other areas of Philadelphia with high rates of open drug use and addiction, the city's health department has set up mobile wound care trucks to stem the tide of infections associated with xylazine. In some cases, by the time the medics arrive, the infection has progressed so far that people wind up disabled for the rest of their life, and will likely lose limbs because of the severity of the damage.
So here's my question. You have enough money and resources and willingness to set up these things. Why can't you just flip it around and use that same money and make the resources so that these people are put into a cleanup act? What's it called? Rehab kind of thing. Help that way. Why not fix the problem instead of band-aid the problem? I don't understand. It takes the same amount of resources and time and everything else.
This is truly unfortunate. As the police started to see the first signs of the heroin outbreak, drugs suddenly became a lot more profitable. Because it was more profitable, Kensington received a significant influx of people from outside the community selling. And it says here that we have the heroin is mostly fentanyl. Fentanyl is mixed with xylazine, which is tranq on the street. We see the open wounds and sores, so the more we continue to allow that behavior to happen, the worse it is. And for those folks that are in addiction. And so I would like to say, all right, you don't want the services, but you have to move on from here. You have to either leave the spot that you're in, or you have to take the services necessary to get you help. And this is according to a local official. But some say allowing such behavior to continue causes a negative impact on other people in the community and exposes them to people defecating in the street, needles left in the open, and individuals engaging in petty crimes like theft.
I was going to say, where are these highly addicted, physically damaged people getting the money from to buy the drugs and getting the needles and getting the everything else? Because I know personally, if I'm driving through Kensington Avenue, the first person I'm not giving my money to is the person that they're describing in these things. So where are they getting it? You think the drug dealers going in going, you look like you could use a hit here on the goodness of my heart.
Maybe they got a government contract too. Who knows? It says if we're just going to clean up around a problem like we do on Kensington Avenue every day, then we allow the same behavior to happen. We got to constantly clean up every day. It looks good for a couple of hours, and then it's back to how it looked before. We're spending a lot of resources and money that's not addressing the problem. So it's like having a pig and putting lipstick on that pig. Still a pig. We're not really dealing with the crisis at hand, which is the unhoused people, the opioid epidemic, the open-air drug markets, and the violent crime that comes with that.
Now, the easiest way to fix it is the way that's not going to make them the most money. Letting people stay the way they are and stuff makes them the most money because they're going to get government grants to clean up. They're going to get donors who are going to give them money to kind of help with the situation. I grew up in Philly and I hate to see it go to this. Here's $10,000. They're going to get money for the issues, so they're not going to change them.
You're right now. However, I would suspect over time, we will then see a new form of gentrification in these areas. And then Kensington will see real estate prices going up. And all these people will be pushed off somewhere else where they want that same process to happen there.
I was about to say where they want that city to fall so they can come in and fix it for what they want and then move them on to the next one. Just like when you bus people from Texas to other places or wherever else.
So last week, Philadelphia Mayor Jim Kenney and law enforcement officials announced the arrests of more than 170 people from a 3-day operation that also led to the confiscation of $1.4 million of drugs and 27 firearms.
I wonder where they're going to sell that to, because it's not like they're going to sit there and hold on to it. That's a lot of money they could turn around and...
But again, do they really want to see this problem solved and cleaned up? Do they really want these people to get the help that they need? Or is it too profitable for them to stop and just let it keep going and getting worse? Mm-hmm. Now, this after a White House cocaine discovery followed by outrageous ambivalence.
Yeah, a word I can say. I normally can't say many of them, but...
Hey,
hi, morning. How you doing?
Good.
Are we in your way?
No.
Okay.
So it says that Karine Jean-Pierre stressed President Biden and his family were not at the White House over the weekend during the discovery of this cocaine.
So they accidentally left it behind?
And I was like, they're probably joking that no, they weren't there. They were actually in Colombia at that time negotiating with their supplier.
Colombia. Or on Kensington Avenue.
That sounds like one of those weekend update.
Yes. Who's going to do it, Colin Jost or Michael Che? Colin Jost. He would do that one.
But somebody told me that this is all run by the CIA and the FBI to keep the money flowing in.
Duh, who do you think buys the most drugs? It's not the people, it's the government.
They're like, who do you think gives them the planes to fly these in?
You ever seen, what's that movie with Tom Cruise? American?
Cocaine Bear?
No, although hilarious, but no. What's that movie, America? Something America. With Tom Cruise and the plane.
What was the name of that damn movie?
Where the government was like, don't tell anybody we did this, but here, take this plane, go
American
get this
Made?
coke, bring it back.
American
Yes.
Made?
An American-made problem, basically, if you want to think about it like that.
Yeah, I think it was American Made. And I'm not the only one who has jokes because DeSantis jokes about White House cocaine delivery or discovery, not delivery.
Delivery.
What if he sent it over?
What if he's like, haha, gotcha.
He says they've been blowing it.
It's funny.
DeSantis told Outkick host Tommy Lauren, I don't know. He knew the Biden administration was blowing it on a lot of fronts.
Yeah, that's the lady.
And we can't talk about Ron and not mention Disney.
Unfortunately, they are synonymous now.
The latest headline reads: Disney stock downgraded over streaming theme park growth fears, and the Disney's rating has fallen and also has caused the stock price to fall.
Why over streaming? What does that mean?
Disney stock was downgraded this week. Actually, I'll let you read this one.
Disney's stock was downgraded this week by investment advisory company KeyBank Capital Markets over fears of stalled growth at its Disney Plus and Hulu streaming services and lower attendance at its theme parks, according to reports. Let me explain something. Lower attendance at the theme parks right now, it's hot as frickin' Hades out. I don't want to go stand around in 2-hour-long lines in the blazing sun and have to pay to do it. Like, no, that's not happening.
Yeah, not happening.
Not happening at all. But stalled growth at Disney Plus and Hulu streaming services. Well, Hulu, you got to pay even more than Netflix in order to not get ads. So I don't watch Hulu that often, even though I pay for it because there's too many ads. Disney Plus, there's nothing really new on there right now that I noticed. So I haven't been there in a while either. But I'm sure they're making up their money with ESPN since they own the sports things
and give people access to a great catalog.
Yeah.
They'll sign up. They'll watch it.
Well, that's why everybody's on Netflix right now, because they're the ones who have the better movies. The better movies.
And then here?
Oh, while Disney appears less expensive versus its historical average, we believe the stock is unlikely to work until a number of items have line of sight to being resolved. Well, I'm sure the issues right now are, again, since the world is open, the influx of people to Disney has been ridiculous in the last year because people couldn't go there for so long, and now they can, and it's overcrowded a lot of times, so people are pulling back on it. It has gone up in price. It went up, I think, March or April, I don't remember. It went up enough that when you have more than 2 people going, it's noticeable. The food prices are ridiculous. The lines for everything are stupid. Unless they can lower the price or limit the amount of people per day, I don't really know, honestly. Even me personally, I'm like, Disney, y'all kind of
this whole cost of living, this insane cost of living crisis is probably going to have an impact on discretionary spending, travel, vacation, souvenir.
I'm sure theme parks in general, but they want to say Disney, but I'm sure theme parks in general are having issues.
No, you're absolutely right.
But Disney's the hot button right now, so.
Well,
Busch Gardens,
we got another hot button
Six
here.
Flags.
We got another hot button and another hit to the movie industry.
Okay.
GOP lawmakers slam Barbie over map depicting Beijing territory claim in the pocket of communist China.
I guess I'm confused because I don't know what the problem is there.
Lawmakers accuse the U.S. film industry of
acquiescing to China to sell tickets.
It says that several GOP lawmakers are accusing Hollywood of once again
acquiescing. It's funny I can say that word and I can't say like anonymity.
to the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, over the Barbie movie's reported inclusion of a map that appears to endorse Beijing's dominance of the South China Sea.
Well, Barbie is based on when Barbie came out, right? However many years ago. I don't know how this works.
Now, sometimes you'll show me a comment, you'll read me a comment or show me a comment that was held for review. And I'm like, man, they're really reaching on this one.
Yeah, this feels like a reach. Especially since the United States lets China come in here and start up their own police things in the cities that they have majority population in. How are you going to be mad about this?
Well, it's actually not the United States that's mad. Not mad at this in particular, but it really does get a little bit convoluted.
Okay.
But it says,
hot up here.
While it may just be a Barbie map in a Barbie world, the fact that a cartoonish crayon scribbled map seems to go out of its way to depict China's unlawful territorial claims illustrates the pressure that Hollywood is under to please CCP censors. How many movies here recently were made and released that were ultimately banned in China?
Oh, Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
I know that one because it has the gay agenda in it.
And there were others. So basically what they're saying...
I just remember that one big time.
So what they're saying is that Hollywood is trying to throw China CCP a bone to get the pass. So their movies appeal to them.
Okay.
For the revenue.
Makes sense.
The upcoming summer blockbuster starring Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling has found itself in the middle of one of today's most heated geopolitical disputes. Who'd have thought?
Who'd have thought Barbie and Ken
But
setting it off?
Here's the deal. We got to have a problem with everything.
Yeah.
We got to have a problem with everything. I'm not saying we do. I'm just reading you what the headlines say.
Well, other people are mad that Ken is being portrayed by Ryan Gosling. Like, you couldn't have put Channing Tatum in there? Maybe a little broski Thor, what's his name?
Chris Hemsworth. Why
he would have made a much better
Ryan
Ken.
Gosling?
I don't know, but he seems to fit the bill because Ken is kind of metro, and Ryan's kind of whatever.
Vietnamese officials announced the Warner Brothers film would be banned within its borders. Vietnamese officials over the inclusion of a map that purportedly supports China's claim to vast parts of the South China Sea, officials in the Philippines have signaled that they could follow suit. So it's really not U.S.
Okay.
See, it's like,
okay.
You see what I'm saying? But everybody's got to say, everybody's
Yeah.
got an opinion, everybody got
Yeah.
a problem.
But I'm sure the filmmaker said, if we put it out there like this, what countries are really going to have an issue with it, and how much money do they really spend in movie theaters? You know what I mean?
Is this then really a twist to generate free publicity to make people want to watch the movie?
There's always something. There's always. Oh, the other thing is how Margot Robbie was able, how many takes it took her to walk out of her Barbie heels straight out and her feet still be like this. People are trying to figure out how she did it. She's like, I was holding on to something, obviously. It's not like I could just do that. My feet don't do that.
My feet don't do
My
that.
feet don't do that.
So this is yet another disgraceful example of Hollywood being in the pocket of communist China. Not only does it undermine our national security, but it exposes the film industry's blatant hypocrisy on social justice and human rights, is what Waltz told Fox News Digital.
How does it undermine national security?
This goes far deeper, yeah.
This
This goes far deeper than TikTok.
I mean, does Barbie show where the bunker for the president is? Like, I don't understand how that undermines national security.
The boundary line shown on the map, maybe they were doing some of that xylazine and fentanyl when they wrote this. The boundary line shown on the map represents China's claim to a vast section of the South China Sea, which is also being fought over by Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, Brunei, and the Philippines and Taiwan. The map's inclusion in Barbie underscores the growing controversy over Hollywood's reliance on China, which has rivaled the U.S. for its biggest market in recent years.
Two things. One, I don't know if you can see this, those men are like literally climbing 90 degrees up to the top of that metal roof, and it's hot as balls out. Two, was that part ever, like, did China ever own that section? Because if so, like back in whenever Barbie came out in this movie, maybe it was like a legit thing. Because I don't know what China's owned. I don't know what part they ever had control over.
It's a crude sketch drawing in a movie. I mean, again, I think, are they really reaching here?
Probably.
Hollywood.
You know how the government likes to reach around.
Hollywood and the left, like when you see me poking the screen, I'm just trying to get the contrast to, like,
so that you show up.
It locks on me, because otherwise it'll lock on the sky behind me and
nothing.
I disappear.
Yeah.
I did that pause again to see if YouTube would put an ad there. And get this.
If they did them back to back like that, man, that'd suck.
But wait, there's more. All right, I'm stopped. Hollywood and the left are once again more concerned with selling films in communist China than standing up to the regime's egregious human rights abuses, according to Blackburn. The Barbie movie's depiction of a map endorsing Beijing's claims to the South China Sea is legally and morally wrong and must be taken seriously.
So they're worried about a movie.
Barbie should be held accountable.
They're worried about the movie, but they're not worried about the fact that literally 90% of stuff on our shelves in stores is from China. But they're going to have an issue with Barbie. All right, pick your battles.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right.
But is this all by design?
Oh, I thought that was a squirrel. I was like, how the hell did he get all the way up here? It's a bird.
There was a bunny on 24
oh, yeah.
yesterday.
Little baby bunny.
He probably died. But this is, I'm just saying.
I mean, he probably did. There's a lot of cars and very
no
little
way.
bunny hopping space.
It's like Frogger and Tennessee and
That's how I felt.
Nashville traffic.
That's how I felt trying to get across the parking lot at Buc-ee's. I'm like, this is like Frogger.
Yeah,
trying to not get
Buc-ee's
hit.
is wild.
Yes.
We went to Buc-ee's yesterday.
Wilding
Every parking spot was full.
And they were parking on the street. They were parking in the do not parking spots. It was crazy.
But the question I have really is, who's pulling the strings behind the curtain? It all seems so strangely coincidental. Now,
My right knee is getting sunburned.
we have a new group of recruits for the U.S. military, yet are facing continued recruiting crisis. Nearly 80% of new military recruits are related to those who have already served their country. And 50 years ago, the United States stopped drafting citizens into service and turned instead to an all-volunteer force. Ever since then, according to Secretary Austin, Americans have joined our military out of conviction and not out of compulsion. You there, the squirrel on your shirt.
So here's the thing that I'm sure plenty of you have already realized and thought about, but it feels like our government and our
pronounce
media.
the N in government.
I need you to really understand who I'm talking about, not the government.
Government.
It's the government. It's the big dogs, okay? Not the little ones.
No,
the
got a whistleblower here.
And the media.
Actually, that bird over there tweeting.
What did you say?
I said you're a whistleblower, but it's the bird.
He knows. I'm about to throw out some dimes here. Or is that right thing? No.
Gems.
Gems, thanks.
You're going to drop dime.
Drop dimes, throw gems, whatever. You have to realize that with this whole push for transgenderism, you have just taken away the ability to be in the military, which may be why a lot of men want to become women so they don't have to join the military if there is a draft or whatever else. But for the media and the government to push it, it feels like they're trying to ensure that we don't have enough protection if things were to pop off.
Secretary Austin's visit comes as the U.S. military continues to face a recruiting crisis resulting from the robust job market, the end of wars overseas, and high rates of PTSD. Recruiters did not have access to college campuses or high schools during the peak of the C-19 pandemic in 2020 and 2021, losing crucial face-to-face time with potential recruits. I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if I believe that. College has also become a more popular option for high school graduates, with 62% of high school seniors pushed to go directly to college.
Pushed, you see that? Pushed to go directly to college.
Another reason for low recruitment numbers is the perception among some that the military has gone woke. The nation is also facing a health crisis among young people, with 77% of America's youth not eligible to serve.
Well, you also have to think about the fact that
maybe the milk they're getting from their chest feedings.
What they mandated that anybody in the military do last year, the year before, without actual proof.
It wasn't the fact that you couldn't get in front of potential recruits in
it was
schools because they were like,
the things you were
making
making people do.
You want me to stick what? Where?
Yeah, like this has been out for 4 weeks, and you want your entire military to go ahead and inject. That may be another reason why you don't have people.
And that's an order. And that's an order.
Which is even worse.
Cadet.
Do you know what you're saying?
Nope. So a recent Wall Street Journal article outlined another alarming trend. The children of military families, who typically make up 80% of U.S. Army recruits, the children of these families are telling, or the parents are telling their children not to serve, especially those from the South. Spelled South with an F.
South.
The Army, Air Force, and Navy are on track to miss recruiting goals this year. The U.S. military has typically met annual recruitment goals since 1973, and the U.S. Army missed its recruiting goals by 25% last year.
That's why.
After 9/11, recruiting increased due to the wave of patriotism that swept the nation. This year, the Army is expected to end up 15,000 recruits short of its 65,000 goal. Meanwhile, U.S. military chiefs say that retention has never been higher, but continue to express concern that if recruiting numbers don't improve, the U.S. will not be able to face the next great power threat or deal with two conflicts at the same time, Russia and China.
Think about this. They can't get 65,000 people out of the millions upon millions upon millions upon extra millions of people that live here.
Getting young men and women like the one Secretary Austin met is crucial to protecting U.S. interests.
Why young? That's still my issue. Why do you need an 18-year-old to go fight for you?
They are very
gullible,
impressionable.
Okay. Because if I had to pick between the 18-year-old who just got out of high school and the biggest fight he ever had was that locker room brawl over some chick versus the 30-year-old guy who has lived life and probably had numerous fights, I'd take the 30-year-old over the 18-year-old. That's just me. I know that may sound stupid, but the one who has lived life a little bit longer probably might, in theory, have better reasoning skills and whatever.
Secretary Austin says that we rely on you. Our democracy relies on you, and your country relies on you. Before these folks were shipped off to basic training. But I mean, how can he really say that? Democracy relies on you when we have, theoretically, traitors infiltrating our government, undermining all of which we should be patriotic and fighting for.
Do you think if they said we are a republic that people would sign up?
But this, in my opinion, is about the money. Or is it about patriotism? Now I'm confused.
I don't know.
Maybe it's something else.
Well, what's interesting is the patriotism thing. I'm pretty sure that in the Constitution, I might have a little things like twisted around here, but I'm pretty sure in the Constitution, you're not supposed to like sell the flag in anything but the shape of a flag. Isn't that a thing? Like, you're not supposed to deface the flag, and defacing it means cutting it up, turning it into things. Like, you got people wearing flag shorts and walking around with flag koozies, and I'm pretty sure that's not what you're supposed to do. I gotta look that up. I remember this.
But then you got some folks they're against patriotism, as we can see from.
Sorry, I gotta slide out of the sun. I'm like a sweat bomb over here. It's so bad.
Yeah, black t-shirts was a bad idea.
Well, inside it was fine.
Golf influencer Paige Spiranak shows off her American flag bikini for 4th of July.
That's what she showed off.
And then she gets hate. Caption, POV, point of view. You're enjoying a hot dog and a beer with me, is what she said. Now, Paige Spiranak she's not afraid to show off what she's got. The social media golf influencer took advantage of the holiday to get her fans into yet another argument. Spiranak, 30, put on an American flag bikini and went to work.
That's how we're going to phrase that?
Caption says, Happy 4th. Happy 4th. I think that there's more here, but another one said, God bless America, as she appears to be holding a tray of hot dogs and relish and
I'm surprised you saw that based off what's above it. I didn't even know I didn't even notice there were hot dogs there. Shit. Man. What you meant to say was God bless the cows of America and the milk and all the hormones in them.
POV, you're enjoying a hot dog and beer with me, is what she said in the video, doing her best Joey Chestnut impression with Tom Petty's American Girl playing in the background.
I'm going to assume that if you hit play, she slowly takes a bite of said hot dog.
I didn't watch the video, so we need to watch it later.
I can guarantee.
That might be a 2.0 video.
I can guarantee.
Now, of course, the majority of comments read, oh my, well done, America. Drool emojis and anything else flirtatious that could get the former professional golfer's attention.
If she'd been wearing a Mexican flag, do you think it would have done the same thing? Out of curiosity.
It's still all the same.
It's still the same.
She did it on
visual.
May 5th. So you said, well, who is that? I said, well, it says here she built one of the largest followings in the sport with 3.7 million followers on Instagram, 1.5 million on TikTok, and another close to 900,000 on Twitter. And it doesn't seem like she's going to stop showing herself off anytime soon. According to Spiranak, what I produce is not that provocative. If my body makes someone uncomfortable, that's not my problem. I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm not causing harm. End quote. And also says here that maybe it's because I come off as every guy's fantasy. A girl that loves golf and wears a bikini, but I see myself as a girl's girl. I'm coming from an authentic place. No comment? But honestly,
if they drop that, that would be detrimental.
Let's see here. Oh yeah, that would be.
That would. I mean.
Hopefully, there's nobody around. They got a tagline on it. We'll see what happens. Unfortunately, it's not a windy day because those metal panels would go flying relatively easily. In her post, she whipped out the hot dogs and beer, much like plenty of us did for the 4th of July celebration. We did not have hot dogs or beer for 4th of July.
We did not. It's lacking.
And I bet that there were a ton of true golf fans at home whipping out their hot dogs too. At the sight of these recent uploads to Instagram and Twitter, and I bet they lost count of how many strokes to make on their scorecards as well, and they probably took a mulligan. On this one, or at least that's what they told their wife or their girlfriends.